Hello, everyone. Yay! FloraSage here, and I want to welcome all of you to this Lunch and Learn with Flora. So we're going to wait until everybody pops in. So go ahead and put where you're coming from, where you're viewing this from in the chat box. You'll see the chat box on the right-hand side of the screen. So we'll give you just about another minute or so to pop in. Ooh, I'm excited. So today's topic is self-sabotage. It's a good one. We got a lot of stuff to cover, so we're going to wait another few moments, and then we will get started. I'm really pumped. And I have this piece of hair that's itching my head. That's itching my neck. All right, so I want to make sure that everything is good to go. Let me get the chat. Sherry from Hey. Awesome. Yay. Woohoo. All right. So let's get started because like I said, we have a lot of content to cover today. So I want to officially welcome everyone to our Lunch and Learn for this week. I am FloraSage. And as I mentioned before, this topic is self-sabotage. And we're going to learn what self-sabotage is. We're going to learn examples of it. We're going to figure out why we do it. And then we're also going to look at how it really affects our life and how it can damage our in a very detrimental way, hence damaging it. And also strategies that you can use to reduce self-sabotaging behaviors. So before we get started, we're going to do what I like to call a vibe check. And this is so we can call in sacred space and release the energy of the day. So let's close our eyes and take a deep, deep belly breath in through the nose. Allowing your belly to rise and check. And exhale slowly out. Take another deep, deep belly breath in. And exhale. Take one last breath in. As we call in all of our guides and guardians to be with us in this sacred space today. And as you exhale, open your eyes. Yay! Okay, so we've got more people joining us from Georgia and Connecticut and Florida and New York. Yay! I'm excited. All right, so what is self-sabotage? Self-sabotage essentially is doing things that lead to results that can have or get or receive. This is literally like shooting yourself in the foot. When you do something that ultimately hurts or hinders you in some way, you're engaging in self-sabotage. Now, in self-sabotage, usually there is some form of temporary relief, some sort of short-term payoff that will alleviate some stress or will avoid some type of circumstances that you're not really quite ready to address quite yet. Unfortunately, the big thing about self-sabotage is that there is a brief feeling of positivity and relief that will reinforce the idea that if it's in self-sabotage doing this, then this makes me feel better. But when you do that, unfortunately, this exacerbates the problem. Now, the process of self-sabotaging usually starts in your thoughts, and then those feelings kind of go, oh yeah, because those feelings reinforce those thoughts of, oh, you know, if I just not do this right now, maybe I can get away with not doing this in the future. And again, that's self-sabotaging. You're shooting yourself in the foot by not doing something that's making you slightly pushing you just outside of your comfort zone. And so there's this fabulous quote that I have written down here by Alice Selby. And Alice writes, self-sabotage is when we say we want to go about making sure that it doesn't happen. I'm going to repeat that because it's so good. Self-sabotage is when we say we want something and then we go about making sure that it doesn't happen. So how many times have you done that? How many times have you said, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden you start, engaging in behaviors that make it not possible for you to actually get and have those things that you say that you want to get and that you say that you want to have. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of behaviors, and pay attention of these behaviors do you identify with. So drinking too much alcohol in social situations. A lot of the times people do this because they want to relax and feel a little bit more comfortable. But then as the night progresses, you drink more and more and more. And then all of a sudden something happens and you're embarrassed and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened, So another thing that many people do, and this is widespread, is saying yes when no. Think about that. Another thing, or a way of self-sabotaging behaviors that really impact and influence our life is insisting that things be your way instead of the right way, or instead of the way that benefits everyone. This is a really big one because a lot of people, especially when they're in a leadership role, they don't want to let go of that leadership. They don't want to let go of their need or want or desire to feel or be right. So insisting on things being your way is one of a very big way that people self-sabotage, is reacting. Now, this is something that's really huge, and I do whole classes about reactions versus responding to something. And this has to do with habits. This has to do with synapses in our brain and being able to rewire our brain. But for all intents and purposes, for today's class, allowing yourself to look at how do I react in certain situations versus how should I be responding, or how could I respond is another thing. Refusing to take care of yourself. And this is, your health, your weight, your hygiene, things that would make your life better in your physical vessel that you just don't do. Getting exercise, getting chiropractic care, getting your eyes checked, going to the doctor for a checkup, taking vitamins, having enough water. All of these things are a form of self-sabotage when you should do them, or do them. You feel really good. You feel at your best, and then you don't do it. And that's a form of self-sabotage. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm good. And then they just keep waiting and waiting and waiting. And again, this is a form of self-sabotage that many times gets pushed under the rug. Another thing is avoiding things that you don't want to do, which of course, maybe you don't want to exercise. So avoidance is huge because it's easy for us to put it off. And we get that temporary reward. Yay, I don't have to do it because you don't do it. Another thing is being passive in a situation so that you won't ruffle any feathers. This is a really big one. And this is actually a big form of codependency. So if you don't know what codependency is, I would recommend that you Google it. But one of the biggest markers of a codependent is the need to control other people, whether overtly. Now, other people is so that you can feel that you are in control, but also some people want to overtly control others. Like, well, no, I need it to be this way and you have to do it this way. And they're insisting on things being a certain way. Versus the other side of manipulation or control or codependency is, well, I really don't like when so-and-so does this, so I'm just not going to say anything because I don't wish they might get upset with me. I'm just going to sit back and be really passive about it. That too is a form of manipulation, because if you were to speak your truth, the situation would be different. So look at how you choose to manipulate others by being passive in a situation so that you don't ruffle feathers and you don't, quote unquote, possibly make somebody upset. We don't know how people are going to react or respond until we actually voice our truth. And it's just on our part, which again is a form of self-sabotage, is assuming things would be a certain way. And so because we think that it might be that way, then we don't take action. Another thing is to procrastinate and put off and put off and put off and put off. This is also a form of avoidance, but procrastination is usually linked to and associated with personal action for things in our life. Avoidance many times is situational with people and I'm not finishing what you start. So you may start a book and then, yeah, I'm not going to finish this book. Or you may start a course and then just not finish it. Or you may start a big project for work and then not finish it. And so look at what you have in your life that you've started that you haven't given yourself permission to finish, that you know if you finish it, your life is going to be better for it. Okay? Another thing is being indecisive. Being indecisive is another form of codependency. It's another, okay, so codependents are bedmates. They really go hand in hand together. So you're going to hear me talk about codependency quite a lot. And so if you identify as extremely self-sabotaging, as constantly doing things that you know are hindering your life, I would recommend after this lunch and learn that you go online, Codependency Anonymous, you look at the characteristics and traits of codependency, because this is one of the things when you address your codependency behaviors, your self-sabotaging behaviors drastically reduce. But I digress. Okay, so let's go back. So being indecisive and saying, well, I don't know if I should do this or if I should do that, if I should take this class or if I should take that class. I don't know if I should call this person or not. Or if you're at a restaurant, oh, I don't know what to eat. Well, hey, what are you going to eat? And you put your decisions on somebody else. Well, yourself, your own and your own personal source of satisfaction and life satisfaction by putting your hands in somebody else's or just not making a decision whatsoever. Another thing, and this is a huge form of self-sabotage, is avoiding getting a handle on your finances. This is huge. I see so many people that are in debt and living paycheck to paycheck and are miserable for it. And then when I ask them, okay, so why have you not saved? Why haven't you cut up what you started saving and just using cash? Well, and then they make all these excuses about why they're living paycheck to paycheck, why they haven't saved money, why they don't balance their checkbook, why they're up to their ears in debt. And that is a huge form of self-sabotage. Another thing, and this is the biggest one as well. Okay, so they're all really big, but this is one that is really running rampant in our society today, and it's hedonistic view of life. Well, look who's in office, or look what the state stats are. Oh my gosh, the economy sucks. Oh my gosh, have you seen gas prices? Oh my goodness, And that's that pessimistic point of view. It's focusing on the negative. It's focusing on those things that you supposedly can't control, but in all reality, you can by choosing to look at it in a different way. So those are some examples of what self-sabotage looks like in life. But why do we engage in self-sabotage? What's the point if it's not good, if it's not bringing us to a healthier, more enlightened place, to a happier place? Why do we do it? Well, it's our unconscious need to be in control. Okay, life is chaotic, life is messy, and when we can feel like we have even an iota of control in our life, it makes us feel better. It makes us feel good. And so if we have this uncontrollable urge, unconscious urge as well, to control relationships of all kinds, whether platonic or intimate, work or not work, we start to manipulate these situations and we start to feel a little bit more in control. And many figures that we're engaging in are a form of self-sabotage. Another thing is because we get used to failure. Well, it's not perfect, so what's the point? Well, I tried this and it didn't work, so why should I even bother trying again? Another thing, a lot of the times people feel unworthy of success. Like you've tried a lot of different things. You've tried piano and you're not successful, so you just don't do it. You tried speaking or you tried this or that or whatever, and it's just not successful. So you're just like, yeah, Why even? And well, if I am successful, what are my parents going to say? They're going to tell me to not gloat or not brag. Well, I don't want to outshine my siblings. And oh my God. And so there's all these excuses that we make. And simply because we ourselves don't feel worthy of success, we don't feel like we actually can reach that level in our life. And so we just do that. Another thing is that we have a need for excitement, such as gossip. It's exciting because, ooh, tell me about this and tell me about that. Ooh, oh my God, did you hear about this? That's exciting because it's engaging and you're talking about all of these other people. Another thing that's exciting that is a huge form of self-sabotage is picking a fight with someone to start drama. And also, this is a big one, playing into the drama. So how many times have you been sitting there and you're talking about someone or to someone or about something else, and all of a sudden somebody's like, oh my God, so this happened and this happened and this happened, and can you believe this? And how you engage by going, tell me about it. Yes. Oh my gosh. So even if you don't agree with that person inside, those nonverbal cues of or even the verbal cues of like, oh my God, tell me about it, you're agreeing with it and you're becoming that energetic match for self-sabotage, for this drama, for this like really ridiculous energy that you don't really need in your life. You can detach from it. It's a huge form of that is excitement on the lower spectrum of the vibratory scale, which brings you just to a place that is just not healthy for you. Another reason why we engage in self-sabotage is because we've gotten into the habit of it. Excessive drinking, excessive eating, chronic indecisiveness, being shy. All of these things can and usually become a habit over time. And so it's just part of who I am, and I can't change because people don't change. First, I've got to say that's a bunch of bullshit, because people can change. I've seen it happen. I've changed exponentially in my life. And that's because I choose to take personal responsibility and move from a fear of resistance into a place of fluidity and into a place of ease and grace, and saying, you know what, I'm not perfect, but hey, I'm trying my best. And that's the thing, is that it's so easy to stay stuck in that habit of self-sabotage and in these self-sabotaging behaviors. Now, another reason why we do this is because we like to stay in our comfort zone. We can choose to stand in our truth, which gets us out of our comfort zone, or choose to just be passive and say, yeah, I don't know, good. And that's one of the biggest forms of self-sabotage, is just staying in your comfort zone and in this circle, this sphere of your known reality. And when you stay in your sphere of your known reality, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a repeat of what it is that you've already had and what you've always had. And you don't get something new until you get outside of your comfort zone. So how self-sabotage affects our life is, well, first and foremost, self-sabotage gets easier over time, because really make it a habit. When we have this habit of self-sabotaging, again, it becomes easier, but also all of these unintended consequences start happening. Those unexpected short-term from it. Have to do this, woohoo! So that short-term reward starts to be overshadowed by, okay, now you have heart disease because you've been eating like crap for 20 years. Okay, now you have to get back surgery because you're overweight and you have sciatica and your bulging discs need to be operated on. Okay, well, I want a divorce because I'm not happy because you're not talking with me at all about anything. Okay, well, now you're going to get fired because you're not doing that report that we asked you to do. So these things build all of a sudden point where, boom, it breaks. Something happens, and then all of a sudden, okay, you can't stop that cycle. You have to all of a sudden face those things that you've been avoiding, and then it's really, 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 really uncomfortable. So another thing is, let's just say that you want to speak up in a meeting, but you are afraid to, and so you just choose not to, you choose not to, you choose not to. Well, then all of a sudden you get passed up for promotion. because you're not really valued at your work for all the your office work or whatever, but your voice isn't being heard as a leader. And that's the thing is, you know, maybe you choose to stay with an abusive partner because you don't want to ruffle feathers. Maybe you hang out with negative people. And what does that do for your self-esteem? What does that do for your reality? What does that do for your peace of mind and your happiness? All of these things gradually build over time and over time and over time. And then, like I said, it becomes a habit. And then it grows from this tiny little convenience of, yay, I'm not going to do this, woohoo! And then all of a sudden now it's like, oh shit, now I really have to deal with this. Because now my whole life is just kind of a shitstorm, excuse the vernacular, but it is. And so how to avoid doing this? Well, first and foremost, you need to ask yourself a couple questions. And so I want you to actually write down the answers to these questions that I'm getting ready to ask you, because this is really the first step in getting past self-sabotage. So the first question is, what does self-sabotage mean to you? You've heard lots of examples on what sabotage looks like, feel, belief, some of the consequences, but what does self-sabotage mean to you in particular? You know, what are those repeat patterns that you see in your life that are going on that you've been engaging in? And I'll give you just a few seconds to write down, what does self-sabotage mean to you? It could be avoiding meetings. It could be staying in my comfort zone. It could mean excess alcohol, excess food, excess sex, or gambling, or whatever it is, shopping. It could be staying in. So what is self-sabotage, and how do you self-sabotage in your life? How are you currently self-sabotaging? And I really want you to answer this honestly. Because when you can get really honest with yourself and you can go, you know, yeah, I do avoid situations. I do not speak my truth when I really want to. I do avoid, with, certain things. I just kind of, kind of taking the passive route. So, look at that. And then what patterns are you noticing from all of these things? What patterns are you noticing? Are you getting passed up and seeing other people surpass you? Are people happier in their relationships and you are staying miserable? Are you seeing other people going on trips and vacations and hikes and being really active while you're sitting here with chronic pain and being overweight and you feel like shit? Look at all these patterns and what are you noticing in your life? And then, how have these behaviors affected your life? What are the effects of your behavior so far? Really think about this and just kind of jot these answers down as I'm presenting them to you, as I'm presenting these questions for you. So what does self-sabotage mean to you? How do you self-sabotage? What patterns have you noticed in your life? Those repeat patterns. And how have these behaviors affected you? And what are the long-term effects of this? This is really, really big. Triggers that trigger your self-sabotaging behavior. What are your emotional triggers that trigger your self-sabotaging behavior? This is really big. It could be not feeling heard. It could be not feeling loved or not feeling worthy. Not feeling like you have what it takes, okay? Not being good enough, not being smart enough, tall enough, short enough, fat enough, skinny enough, the whole shebang, okay? That's the epitome. But what are the emotional triggers that trigger your self-sabotaging behaviors? Because once you recognize the triggers, then you can diffuse those triggers. And then what ways do you think that you can implement in your life a new way of thinking so that you can stop the cycle? And this is one of the things that we're going to be talking about right now is strategies that you can use to lessen self-sabotage in your life. So the first thing that you can do is to write out how you self-sabotage, okay? Write out how you self-sabotage. I overeat, I don't work out, I'm not relationship issues, I'm not addressing my finances, I'm not, whatever, and just claim it. I'm not blank. I do this, and own it. Name it and claim it and own it and say, this is what I do. Okay? Because you have to that's part of taking personal responsibility for your life, is just saying, yeah, this is what I do, and you don't have to be proud of it. You can feel like shit about it, and you can go, this is what I do. I do this. Own it. Real full personal responsibility. Say, yes, I am claiming full responsibility for this, for your thoughts, for your actions, for your inactions, all of it. Own it. Own it. Okay? Because when you own it, that's when you can reclaim your energy around it. That's when you can say, yes, I deserve more than this. And then figure out, okay, so this is what I do. What triggers me to do this? What is triggers? Write those triggers down and know those triggers. And when you know those triggers, that's when you can fully learn to stop it. That's when you can learn to diffuse those triggers. So one of the ways that you can start to diffuse those triggers is get professional help. You can speak to a therapist, a counselor, a life coach, a mentor. Okay, how can you diffuse these triggers? Boom, figure it out and work with it. Another thing is to start trusting in yourself. Trust in yourself. Trust in what you know. Trust that you're going to be okay outside of your comfort zone. Because we fit of a coach or a therapist or a mentor or someone that has been there, done that, and working with, work with and through triggers, is they can help you diffuse the trigger and help you see it in a different way, help you see simple and different solutions for these particular behaviors. Some of them are more intense than others. Some of them you may have had for decades, and some you may just be starting. So look at, how long have I been doing this behavior? How has it affected me? And what's triggering it? And then you can go on how to diffuse it. And again, you can simply say, I choose not to do it way. What's a better way? So I want you to ask yourself this question. What's one thing that I can do today that will help me to alleviate this particular trigger or this particular form of self-sabotaging behavior? It could be, I'm not going to pick up a drink today, or I'm not going to eat that extra serving of food, or I'm going to get up off the couch and I'm going to walk today, or I'm just going to stretch, or I'm going to call that person exactly how I feel. Hey, give yourself permission to take the next step. What's one thing that I can do today to help get me out of the situation, to help move me forward, to help me feel better? And give yourself permission to do that. Give yourself permission to trust in your own abilities and to trust in yourself. So before we close today, because this is a short class, this is a lunch and learn, this is a 30-minute nitty-gritty, let's get in and get out, woo, class. Before we end, I really want to share with you a really cool opportunity. So, page, I just put something up on your on the right-hand side of your screen. So what I just put up there is something very, very cool. It's an opportunity for you to get access to over 150 hours of classes and programs just like this for $1. No strings attached. So with this $1 investment, what you get for the next 15 days is you get access to a ton of classes and programs. And I'm going to share with you some of these classes and programs right now. You'll get access to my Intuition 101 class, my Meditation 101 2-part class, and for you, Freedom from Fear 4-hour workshop, my Balance versus Harmony class, my Own Your Power, Own Your Energy class, my full Stop Self-Sabotaging class, which is over an hour long, your Judgment versus Comparison, Getting Past It class, the Color Therapy class, Chakras 101, Spirit Guides Meet and Greet, Archangels class, How to Raise Your Personal Vibes class, How to Get Anything You Want in 4 Steps, Time Management class, New Story, New You, Change Your Life by Rewriting Your Story, or for personal journey through journaling, and so much more. Plus, you also get access to 2 full programs. The first one is my Year in a Day 53-week Earth-Based Spiritualism program, and my Fearlessly Inspired 12-week coaching in a box program. All of this over worth of content, $1. No strings attached. So after 15 days, you get in there, you sign up today, you get in there, you dig around, you listen to all these classes. You also get access to all my meditation albums, all of my affirmation albums. So amazing. You also get access to my office hours calls twice a month. You also get access to the Spiritual Empowerment Group Gallery reading, which we have on the 25th, which is an hour of free readings for the Institute members. If after 15 days, you can bounce, you can say, nope, I'm done, I'm good. But if you love it, you can stay and retain all that access to all the live calls, all of these programs. You can work through all of the Year in a Day program. You can work through the Fearlessly Inspired 12-week program for only $24.95 a month. But like I said, if after 15 days you're not absolutely thrilled and over the moon excited about it, you can simply cancel your trial membership and you've only invested $1. That's it. So if you want to grab this offer for $1 to join the FloraSage Institute, go ahead and click the offer on your screen right now to grab it and join in on the FloraSage Institute All Access Pass, which is really exciting. So with that said, I want to thank all of you so much from the bottom of my heart for coming to today and learn. You loved it. So keep your eyes peeled in your email and on Facebook for the announcement for our next Lunch and Learn and the next topic for the Lunch and Learn class. And if you've loved this program and this Lunch and Learn, go ahead and comment in the comments and let's chat for a little bit. So for those of you who have to get off of this call right now because we're done with the 30 minutes, go ahead and bounce. But for those of you who want to stay and chat for a little bit, maybe if you have questions about the self-sabotaging class, feel free to comment chat box and in the chat room. And I will hang out here for about 5 more minutes to answer any questions that you might have. So we have Carol and Nancy and Fabian and Noma and Amber and Diane, Jen, Maria, and Sherry. Yay! So what questions do you have for myself about this particular topic? Self-sabotage is a really big one. Also, if you have any questions, or I'm sorry, if you have any topics that you'd like to see me cover on these Lunch and Learn classes, please feel free to post it in the comments because I want to really, be able to provide some really hot and heavy content for you all during your lunch break. Nancy said, this was really great. Thank you so much. You're so very welcome. I know we had a lot of people in our Facebook group called the High Vibe Tribe because it takes a village. A lot of people were saying that they really wanted a self-sabotage class. And like I said, we have a class in the Inner Circle in the Institute. It's over an hour. I really felt called to do this. And so, yes, I did have my outline in front of me because there's so much content, so much usable stuff for self-sabotage that this is just enough just to get you started. This is enough to just get you in there and get your feet wet and allow you to really start to address, okay, so I am totally engaging in self-sabotaging behavior and I don't like it and I want to. So the key is to figure out self-sabotaging behaviors. Many times it's fear. And, recognize every person experiences fear. Every person experiences self-doubt, but those people that succeed recognize the fear and just say, yeah, I can't go there. I'm not going to go there right now. My mission is more important than this little bit of fear that I'm feeling. So we have Amber that says, awesome class. Carol says, thank you. Sherry says, great class. Maria says, thank you, Flora. I needed to hear this. You're so very welcome. And I hope that you all will participate in the Institute with the $1 trial. Like I said, you can get in there for $1. Simply click the link, claim my special offer, and jump on it because you can get access, like I said, not only to this full class, but to over 150 more hours of content and meditations and programs and other classes. And oh my gosh, it's just awesome. And all the classes in the Institute have a workbook where you can download them. It's a PDF. The workbooks are anywhere from 2 pages all the way up to the one for the Fearlessly Inspired program, I think is like 100 pages or so. That's like a workbook because it's a 12-week class. It's an amazing program. Oh my goodness, I love it. Love it. So let me know if you have any questions about the Institute, what it could offer you. And we'll stay on for about 2 more minutes because this is a lunch and learn. So I do want to honor your time because you're on your lunch break, hopefully. Some of you, depending on which time zone, be your breakfast. All right, so let me refresh the page for the comments. And again, also, if you have any topics that you're interested in, let me know. We have some of the other topics is overcoming fear, manifesting, intuition, starting your own business, space clearing, removing limiting beliefs, building self-confidence, mindfulness, owning your true self. You are your worst enemy, and share your vision. Don't believe in what you do. So those are some of these suggested comments or topics for these lunch and learns. So if you have a topic, go ahead and email me, flora@florasage.com, and let me know what topic you would like to see me cover. So that's all the time that we have for today. I want to thank all of you so much for attending today's lunch and learn with Flora. And I will see all of you soon. Bye.